Hello and welcome back to our course on modern web development. In this lesson, we'll enhance your application by integrating authentication and user authorization using Clerk services. As you know, authentication is very important for securing your application and providing the best user experience possible. And Clerk offers a modern, developer-friendly approach to authentication, making it very easy to integrate in your application. So we're going to start off with a little introduction to what is authentication is, and basically it is verifying one's identity, verifying the identity of a user through login, register, sign in, sign up. And authorization is determining what a registered user can and can't do. And why would you even bother using them? Well, for security measures is the most important probably, to protect sensitive data and resources, for personalization to provide user-specific content and experiences, and for compliance measures to meet legal and regulatory requirements, because sometimes your application is required to have a certain level of authentication. And why would you even use Clerk over traditional methods? And as you know, there are a ton of methods to set up your authentication, whether it's Next.js traditional authentication or Firebase, Supabase, and so on. We're going to compare traditional methods and Clerk. So, also talking about traditional methods, they usually require significant configuration and understanding of authentication flows. But since we're mostly focusing on modern web development using best and the fastest practices, we're going to use Clerk. And also, you're responsible for managing and updating authentication logic, which might be bothering and tiring sometimes. And also you may need additional setup for features like multi-factor authentication or social logins. And the advantages of Clerk are, well, it's very easy to integrate, right? Simple APIs, pre-built components that reduce setup time. Also, it supports multi-factor authentication, social logins, user management, and more. Besides that, it also offers a very secure service. So even if it's easy to integrate, it is very secure. So managed authentication service with up-to-date security practices, and also it is scalable. Well, compared to traditional methods, it might be not that scalable for like very large projects, but still it handles scaling concerns for authentication out of the box. And also developer experience. It provides a very good developer experience with its well-documented documentation for users and support. So yeah, Clerk streamlines the authentication process, allowing you to focus on building your application rather than managing authentication infrastructure on your own and spending nights and days on setting up the traditional authentication. Now we're gonna slowly move on to installing Clerk SDK and setting up Clerk in your Next.js authentication. So the first step would be running this command to install Clerk SDK specifically for Next.js, and run the following command in our terminal. And now we just wait while it installs a bunch of dependencies, and yeah, once it's done, the next step is setting up the Clerk account. So basically what we need to do now is go to clerk.com, and it's gonna redirect us here. And since I already have an account and I actually use Clerk for my several startups, I already have all the dashboard and features set up. But for this course, I created a separate project, Nozomio AI app, as you can see, and I already played with it before the lesson, and I'll just gonna go over it real quick. So as you can see, it has a lot of sections, features, and it's very easy to navigate. So you can enable email addresses, authentication using phone numbers, usernames, password. You can even set up passkeys, and there are a bunch of stuff you can explore on your own, and I'm not gonna waste a lot of time on that. So yeah, after you registered, you basically have to sign up on the Clerk website, create a new application, and don't forget to get your publishable key and secret key. And Clerk will usually provide you with those after the initial account setup. And if you don't get those, you can just go here in the developer section and navigate to API keys. So once we retrieved our API keys, we're gonna create env.local file in your project's root and add your Clerk keys. So you probably already have those set up, because from our previous lessons you already got your OpenAI API key, and you should have this file. I'm not going to expose my keys, so it should be similar, so like this. you should have next public clerk publishable key, clerk secret key, which you'll get after your setup, and don't forget to add next public clerk sign up URL. And those are basically the routes for sign up and sign in when you need to authorize yourself. And you should already have OpenAI API key, but if you haven't already, then go to OpenAI's website, complete the registration, or watch the previous lesson and get your API key. So after we configured our environmental variables, we're gonna actually start implementing authentication using Clerk. So what we're gonna do now is wrap our application with Clerk provider to make authentication available throughout our application. So we're gonna simply copy this code right here and go back to our project, and instead of layout.tsx, we're gonna replace it with the content of this code. And yeah, what it basically does, it still keeps the same root layout, but uses Clerk provider to wrap the whole application to enable the Clerk services. And after we did that, we have to create several files for our custom sign-in and sign-up pages. By the way, Clerk already provides pre-built components, so you can technically skip that step, but I would suggest if you want to customize your components a little bit and maybe center them on your screen, or just customize it however you want. So yeah, we're going to create a new folder called Authentication to hold all our authentication files inside of that folder. And within that folder, we're going to create a sign-in folder. And within that sign-in folder, we're gonna create a new folder using 2 square brackets, and just basically name it. No, I forgot 3 dots, so don't forget your 3 dots, and sign in and double square brackets again. And within that folder, create a new page tsx, and simply copy the code from our lesson. So I'm gonna quickly walk you through it. So basically, Clerk documentation already provides you, and you just have to copy paste. But here I defined some Tailwind classes to center all the items and just make it smoother. And we have to repeat the same process for sign up page. So go to your authentication folder again, create a new folder and name it sign up. And within that folder, create a new folder, double square brackets, 3 dots, sign up, and again page tsx. And now again, copy the code from our lesson or Clerk documentation. And now that we created and finished our sign-in and sign-up pages, we're gonna create a specific layout just for our authentication pages. So within auth folder, create a new file and name it layout.tsx. Again, go to our lesson and copy the starter code and just paste it here. It basically creates a separate layout from our main layout, and we define it just for authentication files. So yeah, and the thing I added here is instead of manually defining children, we're using props with children type from React, and don't forget to import it on the top. So yeah, and besides that, we also have to create a middleware.ts file to protect our routes and make like a configuration what files we can access or what files we're restricted from if we're not registered. So what you're gonna do is in the root of your project, create a new file and call it middleware.ts and just paste the code from documentation or our lesson. And basically what we do here is we protect different routes by default. So, and we also define public routes, so specific routes that are accessible without authentication. So here they are. And also the matcher config applies the middleware to all routes except Next.js internals and static files. And also, yeah, as you can see, we skip the Next.js internals and all static files unless found in the search parameters, and we always run for API routes. So yeah, some of the cool Clerk features that you can access. You can access user data with hooks. So you just can render user data right on the page and make like the hello and user's name, or just play with it. You can check out Clerk documentation for that. And also there's a thing called conditional rendering with signed in and signed out. So as you can see, we just created a component or function, I mean header, and basically what it does, it uses signed in, so it renders content only when the user is signed in, And same stuff with signed out, user button, and sign in button. So signed out is renders content only when the user is signed out. User button displays user information and sign out option, and sign in button redirects to the sign in page. As once again, you can explore in depth by going to Clerk documentation, which I attached here. And once we did that, we can actually start integrating authentication into our existing application from previous lesson, our Nozomio AA text generator. So first of all, we're gonna update our route.ts. So we're gonna copy it from our lesson, go here, simply paste it here. Now we're gonna update our page.tsx. So basically paste the code from our lesson again, and the only things we added is we imported some stuff from Clerk Next.js SDK, and we also added authentication components to the header, and the main content is wrapped with signed in to show it only to registered users, and the prompt is shown to non-registered users within signed out. So I'm just gonna quickly show you and walk you through, so you can just pause if you want. And here, as you can see, we have user button, signed in, also a bunch of stuff from Clerk. And now let's start our development server to see how it went. So run the following command, go to our local host, and it should redirect us to the sign-in page. Yeah. So as you can see, it has the pre-built Clerk component. All routes are protected. So if we try to go to just localhost homepage, it's gonna redirect us back to the sign-in page. So yeah, we can't access those. So those are protected, and the only way is to create an account or sign in. And yeah, I gave it some features like authentication using Apple or Google. You can also configure a bunch of stuff within the Clerk dashboard itself. So if you go to dashboard, you can add different connections. So add connection for all users, and you can choose your provider. It provides a ton of providers such as Coinbase, Spotify, Twitch, Discord, even GitLab and Hugging Face. So yeah, and you can also configure it here. We can specify if you want to use phone number, username, passkeys, or send an email verification code. So yeah, let's sign up to our account. I'm just gonna use Google for that. And once everything is, yeah, so as you can see, now we're access to our homepage, and we can start prompting. So how many stars are in the universe? And now we can access our chatbot and get the response. Everything works perfect, and here we have our user button that we defined on our homepage right here. So if you go here, we added user button right here. So yeah, you can see it here, and we can manage our account. This also uses pre-built Clerk components, so it is very easy to navigate, and we can even like log out, sign out from our account, and we'll be redirected back to the sign-in page. So yeah, and some of the best practices for using Clerk is to, once again, do not commit any environmental variables to version control, keep your Clerk API keys secure, provide clear messages for authentication states, customize Clerk components to match your application styling, optimize performance, imports, and use edge runtime for serverless functions to improve performance if you want to. And in this lesson, we've covered the importance of authentication and authorization, learned why Clerk is a preferred choice for modern development, set up Clerk in the Next.js application, created some sign-in and sign-up pages, changed our layout, and integrated authentication into our existing application. So great job today, guys. And in the next lesson, we're going to explore data persistence and databases in general, setting up a database to store user data and conversation history. And for further exploration, you can just play with it and customize Clerk components for better user experience and explore advanced features like social logins, multi-factor authentication, and organization management. So once again, thank you for staying with me and participation. Happy hacking!